Hey there, it's Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! How are you tonight? I hope you're doing well. It is Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We are off to the races and ready to go, I hope. So tonight I'm going to be showing you how to do the Tulips Dies. And we're going to be making a card, but first I'm going to show you a couple other ways to do things, and of course, right? So I'm going to flip you around and get started. And we'll also talk about the question of the day, what's being raffled, all that fun stuff, right? So let me get everything, let's see here, squared up, shall we say? Okay. And let's see. Okay. Alrighty, so let me get the computer refreshed and ready to go. And hopefully everything works. That would be amazing, right? So, you just never know. Okay. So I don't think anybody's on with me yet, so I will wait on the question of the day till I see somebody pop in. Here's my foofy pen and my basket that Heidi made. My goodness, we got some talented people, and of course we have our tickets. So for this evening, I am raffling off. This was from Celebration last year or the year before, I'm not sure. This is Flower and Field Designer Series paper pack, 12 by 12, full pack. So that is the raffle prize for this evening. If we're ready to go. Okay, so, let's see. I had to get the trimmer, hold on. Okay, so for this evening, I want to show you a couple cards with the Tulips Dies. And first, I want to show you the Tulips Dies. These are cut out. Okay. So, this is all of the dies that are in the bundle. Okay, or in the dies, rather. So, this is a border. These are some of the flower shapes. And we'll go over this. So, this is the... let's see. Which one is this? Oh my gosh. People. Which one is it that I'm using tonight? This one. I always get these two confused. Anyways, this one is the one we're going to be using tonight, as well as this filler and a middle. So that is what we're going to be using, as well as the stem and the two leaves. We're going to be doing some stamping as well. So if you're joining me, please say hello. The raffle prize is a 12 by 12 pack of the Flowers and Fields Designer Series paper, brand new. Let's see here. Let's see. So the question of the day for today. Question of the day, so answer hashtag question of the day. And here is the club order host code for your information. That is available to you until Saturday midnight, the 15th. I will be closing that out the morning on the 16th, so you can order as long as your timestamp says the 15th. That will work. So, question of the day. If you want to answer, are you a paper collector or do you cut it and use it up? So, that is the question of the day. All right, so for today, the Tulips Dies. This is actually done with the stamps only and the paper. This is the stamps, or the paper, vellum, and then this is stamped and embossed, actually, on the vellum. This is done by doing Versamark, and then you stamp in the color, and then you stamp onto the vellum, sprinkle your powder, embossing powder over, and then heat. but gently heat. Be very, very careful, because as soon as it starts to warp, vellum is a much more fragile paper. So that is something you gotta pay attention to. And I use the adhesive sheet. Yes, it leaves a square, but it doesn't leave all kinds of snot and all kinds of mess, shall we say. So that is one of the samples for the Tulips Dies. This is another sample. If you're a demonstrator, you've seen this on Demonstrator Planning Place. This is done with Bumblebee as the mat. Believe it or not, this is white with a black overlay and a little tiny piece of yellow for underneath. This is the background die. I don't know what it's intended for, but I saw city lights. So that is what I did with it, and then just freehand cut buildings. This is actually the moon or the sun, depending, but I think it's the moon. That is actually masked off and cut and then blending brush so it's smooth, all one thing, even though it looks like it's glued in there. So that's another idea for you. The idea for me was tulips dies, flowers, right? What can I make that's not flowery and somewhat masculine? So that's where that came out. And then for tonight's card, we're going to be doing something similar to this, but we're also going to be emphasizing the power of color. It's amazing how a card can change when you change just a couple things. So we're going to be changing the mat, and we're going to be changing the white insert to, hey Gina, how are you, hun? So, question of the day. Awesome. Except you have to put an answer to it. So, are you a paper collector, or do you cut it and use it? So, do you love to use it, or do you love to look at it and pet it? So, do hashtag question of the day and let me know what you're thinking, okay? If you're a collector or if you use it. So this is the card we're going to be making, or at least very similar to. So shall we get started? I believe so. So for this card, I have the Tulips bundle, the dies, and the stamps for it. I have an envelope. I have the new Marvelous paper. Okay. Now, I see a couple things in here. I love the swirls to make the flower, but I also have made stuff with ice cream scoops, because that to me, I mean, that just looks like a sherbet to me. I know, I'm probably hungry too, so it's okay. All right, so I have the Evening Evergreen window pane. What is this? Evening Evergreen window pane. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Window pane check ribbon. I knew I wasn't going to forget the window pane, but the check, yeah, not so much. So that is the ribbon we're using. So we got the Marvelous paper. We've got Marvelous. We've got Granny Apple Green. We have Evening Evergreen. We have a thick basic white card base. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay, and then I gotta double check these because I just pulled these out of the stack, so I'm not certain that they're gonna be the correct measurements. So I'm gonna grab my trimmer really quick. This is Gorgeous Grape, if you're wondering, because I'm changing out the colors. Remember I had told you that? So yeah, they are definitely not the right. So we are cutting our outer mat at 4 by 5 1/4. There was a blog post about a week or two ago that had all the sizes and how everything works, but hey. All right, so this is Flowering Fields. You can grab either side. This other side was that first card that I showed you. So let's see here. So this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5, which it already is. Awesome. One less thing, right? The white, or the evening evergreen in this case, is cut at, let's see, can I get it? Nope. So we're going to get 2 1/4 on this side instead of 3 1/2. 2 1/4. And by 3 1/2. Okay, so we got extras of all that. So that's going to be our middle. What else do we have? I think we have scraps and whatnot to deal with, and that's it. So we're good. No problem at all. So, all right. So now what we're going to do is, you ready for this? We're going to die cut first. Now, I have to tell you, with the Granny Apple Green, I've gone ahead and done this ahead of time, and I put an adhesive sheet on the back. So when I peel this, I'll have sticker, so I don't have to do tons and tons of glue, right? And have sticky fingers and all that kind of stuff. So hold on a sec. I'm going to grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Oh, okay. So there's that. We're going to grab all our platforms so we can do our die cutting. Toss this so I can get everything that I need out of this. A lot of pieces. Okay, and we'll go over it, so it's okay. Hey Cheryl, how are you, hun? So question of the day for today, I am raffling off Flowers and Fields Designer Series paper. It was out of Celebration a year or 2 ago, 12 by 12 paper. Question of the day, no Gina, you like to cut it. Okay, you're perfect, you're good. Question of the day. Are you a paper collector, or do you cut it and use it? So, I think I already know this answer for Miss Cheryl, but I will let you reply. Maybe I will be surprised. So, we are going to start with the Granny Apple Green with the adhesive on the back already done. Makes life easy when you are doing things that have a long and skinny, or you want to put them up and down instead of across. Why? Because when they're going through that pressure roller, they won't do that big old clunk, and they will be much easier to roll. I just want to make sure that I have adhesive all the way. Sometimes I don't put it all the way. I caught that one. Yay. All right, so I am actually going to be stamping these after, believe it or not. Usually I stamp them before, but I found these were much easier to line up as I was stamping instead of trying to get it before they swivel. So, yep. So Miss Cheryl, if you are playing for question of the day, the question is, are you a paper collector, or do you cut it and use it up because it's so gorgeous? So, all right. So we're going to be doing this 3D tulip card. I've got my leaves and my stem so far cut, ready to go, done, with my adhesive on the back, which is amazing. I love, love, love this tool, I guess you would say. So, one of my favorites, actually. And it took me a long time to get comfortable with it, but once I did, I was like, oh man, it's awesome. So, all right, so Granny Apple Green. Next up, we've got our Marvelous paper. This is out of Celebration. We're going to be using, for the middle of our tulip, this little guy. You can pick any of them that have the detail. You just don't want to pick any that have the frame only, okay? And then we're going to be picking the biggest one out of. Now, you want to pay attention to where your swirls are and whatnot, so that way you get the pieces you want. And then that's the middle. If you have any questions on how things go, like if you ever bought the peony, if you bought the pansy, yeah, I often do instructional videos, and then on top of it, if you still have questions, just contact me. We'll set up some time and get things rolling, or you can show up on a Monday and see how it works. So it's just that simple. Mondays I have studio time from 10:30 to 12:30 or 5:30 to 7:30. Let me say that again. 10:30 to 12:30 or 5:30 to 7:30 in the evening. And you're like, but it's dark. Yeah, I know. But in summertime, it's not. So it is what it is, you know? Absolutely love the appear. Awesome. I love it. All right, so let's pull all these guys off. Get everything situated, ready to go, done. Without pulling everything apart, hopefully. Oh, love the paper. Yes. I was trying to figure out what you meant, and I was like, well, if it's a typo, hopefully she will correct it, and I will be okay. So there you go. All right, so we are working on this little piece. If your stem is too long, I'm just peeling the back of this off. If your stem is too long, what you need to do is trim it. It's just that simple. Grab a snips, grab a scissors, grab a snips, and trim it. It's just that simple. So what you're gonna do is figure out what your top is and what your bottom is. I'm like, I never can tell which is which, so it is what it is. But before I do that, what I like to do, and I'm like, which side's in, which side's out? I don't know. So I'm just gonna fold this real quick and put this up here for measurement's sake. And then we're gonna tuck this under right about there. Push that down so it sticks. Not push it all the way down because I want to trim just before the bottom. Okay, so there's my, make sure to get that remnant away because it is sticky. So there's that. Then I'm going to peel off my backing of my leaves. It's amazing. Oh, you know what? I forgot to stamp them, didn't I? Shoot. All right, so we're still gonna put it on. It'll be fine. I'll stamp it in just a second. I'm like, oh, I was missing something. So question of the day, are you a collector or do you cut it? You cut it and use it. Awesome. I love hearing that. So, all right, so I am grabbing my leaves since I do need to stamp some, evidently, right? So, you know, some days you get to going and it just keeps going, and that's all I'm gonna say. So, all right, so I am grabbing my evening evergreen, and I am grabbing my larger, make sure it's going the correct way, and I'm just gonna eyeball and hope and pray. Hey, I did pretty good. All right. So now, before I take the stickies off of the other one, we are going to hope and pray and get going. Yeah, not bad. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is peel the stickies off like I was planning to do. Probably should close up that ink pad, huh? I don't know. Some of you are probably going, I used to only collect. I know, right? You have moved up in the world, Miss Cheryl. It's no good if nobody else gets to see it, right? So, all right. So now I'm going to show you how to do this tulip, this infamous tulip. So I have found that the easiest way is to have glue dots for this, okay? So what I need to do is I need to fold this in and go, oh, that was upside down. The little notch, that is what is the top or the shape of the top of the tulip. So this is very similar to the peony with how it stacks, except there's not like 16 pieces like that one did. So this one, you're gonna stack right inside. But you're going to notice this is tucked a little bit towards the left-hand side because this doesn't fold over as much. So you want to make sure you don't have a gap there. Okay, so we're just dry fitting. We're just going quick. And then the top of the center of the tulip, make sure it's not the smooth side. It's the side that has, well, that didn't work. That's the side that has the little divot on it. That's the top, okay? And it is embossed, but this paper, you can't really see it. You can see it if you do solid. So there's how your tulip's gonna go. Let's see, does it look better this way? You tell me, which way? I've done it both ways, but honestly, most of the time I have it in front. So there we go. All right, so now I'm gonna unfold, and before you unfold, what you want to do is grab here, have where you want it spaced, unfold it gently so you can see, oh, guess what? It's just a tiny bit over that bottom, okay? So I'm grabbing my glue dots now that I know how to line it up. Okay. Yeah, I know. In the front, huh? It looks backwards if it's tucked in the back, huh? All right, so I'm putting my glue dots here. If you want a softer tulip, color-wise, use the back side of the paper, okay? Funny story. So I was living in North Carolina. Remember to go a tiny bit to the left. I was living in North Carolina, and I decided that I wanted tulips because tulips is actually one of my more favorite flowers behind Gerbera daisies. And so I was like, oh, tulips would be gorgeous. Well, I forgot that they only bloom, or didn't even know at the time, I'm not sure, that they only bloom like for a week, right? Maybe 2 weeks if I'm lucky. So here I am watering these stupid things, and the stuff's coming up, the little stalks and stuff. All right, so if I do this and tuck this in, how? Okay. So if you loosely kind of tuck it and then mush it down, you'll be fine. So anyway, so I'm watering this stuff and watering this stuff. I'm like, where are my flowers? Where are my flowers? So I go back to the nursery and I'm like, hey, I did tulips and I don't understand. And they said, oh, they only like bloom like for a week or something like that. And I was like, well, that stinks. So I had tulips for like, I think it was like not the first season because they were seeding into the ground, and then the bulbs were, and then the second season I think I finally had like a couple, and then we moved. So of course, right? All right, so when I'm folding this over, I'm going to be doing the bigger panel first to go on the bottom. And then we're going to do the smaller panel. I noticed my glue dot sticking out a tiny bit, so we're just going to roll that back just a smidge. I don't want it sticking out. Details, right? They'll get you every time. So I'm going to roll that back, and then I'm just going to stick that down. And there we have our infamous tulip. Now, if you want a softer look, you're going to be using that back side of that paper instead. But just look at how gorgeous that is. And I'm wondering, how many tulips can you get out of a sheet? Quite a few. There are a lot of pieces to it, but still, right? So, all right, so now I'm going to grab here, and since I have the glue dots out, I'm just going to continue working with them. If you wanted to pop it up, you can do that with the dimensionals. It's really up to you on what you want to stick out or not, you know, that kind of thing. So, okay. Ouch. Okay. So there's our infamous tulip. Gorgeous, right? I love the work that the design work they put into these dies. It just makes this look so good so easily, right? As long as you know how to work it. I have to be honest with you. So I called demonstrator support and I said to them, I don't understand what this piece looks like. What is it supposed to be? Right? So I'll bring back, let's see, did I have this sheet out? I did. Where did I put it? Oh, it's a constant problem. Where did it go? Let me see. I can find it. Here. So I called it. I'm like, what is that? So if you look at the stamp set, that is like a blade of grass. Okay? Yes, really. Yes, I called because I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. So know that I have resources that you don't have as a customer. I'm not going neener. What I'm telling you is make sure you get with me for customer service. If you're confused, do not be frustrated. This is supposed to be relaxing. So I'm going to cut about 4 inches off of this window pane checked ribbon that's gorgeous. And I'm just going to do a simple knot. Simple knot. Kind of loose though, because I want that puffiness to show up, I guess you would say. So I'm just going to trim the edges. If you're having problems with your scissors, if they're not sharp, stop by on a Monday. I have sharpener, okay? I have a sharpener. Let's see. I do need glue dots now. Can't sticker the whole thing, right? So now I'm going to grab 2 glue dots. And you're like, but John, just put it right here. Yeah, but then it pivots. So I'm going to put it on either side of that knot. So I have a little bit more control of how that looks when it's coming out of the envelope after it's been mailed, okay? One thing to note, if you are sending to somebody that's in snow country, you might want to think about using our clear envelopes or putting it in something of an outer envelope so if it gets wet because of the snow, it won't ruin your card, right? So just a thought. I know it's extra postage and all that, but if you're going through the effort to do, hey, guess what? You probably should make it happen, right? And get it there, right? Alrighty, so now I just got to assemble. So I'm looking for my Stampin' Seal. There we go. Okay. So here's my accent piece. Here's my card base. We're going to flip these over because it's from top to bottom. Now it's bottom to top. Grab our Stampin' Seal. Hopefully get this halfway centered. Okay. And depending on what side you want, you know, pick your side. It's all good, right? So let's see here. And then I'm going to show you the other one and we'll see which one you like better. That is if I could, yeah, I found the sample. We're good. So, yeah. Okay. So there's that. Let me pull the other sample here. But look how easy Stampin' Up! Makes this, right? And look how different each of these cards looks just by changing. Well, it's a little bit of a different pattern because I got, you know, a different piece. But look how different it is by changing the mat and the inset. Crazy, right? So there you go for tonight. Oh, I should probably, I know, I do like both, but I'm like, for springtime, I probably like the lighter one. I don't know. They're just gorgeous. So let's do the question of the day. Let me scroll through real quick. Let's see here. Last call, question of the day. Are you a paper collector or do you cut it and use it? So let's see here. So I've got Gina. I've got Cheryl. Is that it for my question of the day? I have 3 on here, but hey. So Gina and Cheryl. All right, let me grab tickets. They have to hit the basket, right? All right, Pam. question of the day, are you a paper collector or do you cut it and use it? In order to qualify, you need to put hashtag question of the day. And if you cut or if you collect. Do it quickly so that way you can qualify for the raffle. All right, so we've got Miss Cheryl in the bucket. We've got Miss Gina, who won last week, but that doesn't matter. All right, Miss Pam, I'm waiting for you to retype your answer. Yes, I'm going to be a stickler. Why? Because I'm giving you free paper. All right, so this is the only time in your life that you can say that you're a cutter and it's got a good context to it. Right? So, shake, 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 shake. Who's got the drum roll? Let's see. Let's see, let's see. We are doing it for the paper. You're like, not that one, not that one. Miss Gina, you are the winner. Are you still on with me, honey? That is the next question. Gina, if you are still on, say yay. Otherwise, I'm going to redraw. So let's see. Next week's Facebook Live will be on the new Light the Candle kits. Okay? Yay, Gina! So, next week's live will be on the Light the Candle kits, so you can see the new kits. And, let's see, what else? No, I haven't gotten them in yet. They were supposed to be in today, but it got rescheduled, of course, for tomorrow or Friday, and I can't remember. So, yeah, it's just life in a nutshell. So, so there you go. That is what I have for tonight. Thanks again for joining me. Next week will be the kit, and I haven't decided the raffle yet. So we will get there, though. We will. So thanks again for joining me. Follow me, stampingwithjohnny.com. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.